name is Nelson Puentes. I own Inverted Gear and also have a small child you can hear in the background.
What's your middle name, Nelson?
Horacio.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm Matt Kirtley, probably better known as Aesopian, and I'm also probably known as the moderator of your local Jiu-Jitsu subreddit. Let's play some Magic.
Let's play some Magic.
I'm gonna roll who goes first. 12.
Hard one.
Is that a 1 or a 7?
That's a 7.
Okay, a little better. So, let's draw our cards. What's our topic while we play?
I think we can talk about what's a good way to put it? The advent of jiu-jitsu camps and how popular they have become.
So, you've been to more than me. Where do you feel like they kicked off?
Oh man, that's a good question. I mean, if we go way back, there was all this. The big teams had the whole "come train in Brazil" thing.
I'm gonna crack your fence.
I mean, Gracie Humeda, Alliance, even I think Gracie Baja to a certain extent had their own little packages of, hey, like, buy your tickets, pay us this much, we'll pick you up at the airport, set you up at an apartment, and you train at headquarters as much as you want, kind of thing.
That was down in Brazil?
Yeah, like in Rio, Sao Paulo, whatever.
Were those like camps or more like those little resort things?
I mean, this is where jiu-jitsu traincations.
Traincations, yeah. Connection Rio was around.
Connection Rio was about. I don't know if they are or not. And then like jiu-jitsu hostels kind of things, and like all these things where people are like, hey, like I want to go on vacation, but also when on vacation I want to train as much as possible and
you can go
connect with as many jiu-jitsu people as I can. So I think this is where things kicked off mid 2000s. Where these things kicked off. What's your opinion on that? Do you agree?
Yeah, I would say it wasn't a camp like where we see now where there's a specific resort or like a special spot picked that doesn't have anything to do with jiu-jitsu, and then you go there and happen to also do jiu-jitsu. It was, you go to Rio or you go to stay, and they'd have a kind of like there's those black belt cruises and things like that, or kind of like that.
Yeah,
beginning of camps.
Also I think for a while the pre-Pan American, pre-whatever training camps.
Herborg.
There's like actual training camps for an event.
When you're getting ready to go, like you fly out to Pan Ams or Worlds, and then you go.
Yeah,
train
like
with
you
your
went to
team.
like train with Cabrinha, with Lucas, or like the Lions guys in
the Monk
quarters. Okay, and Matt's is playing for keeps here. So you had these camps, but I was part of a few of the Lions training camps for Worlds and Pan Americans, and oh man, like by Wednesday I hated life.
It wasn't a resort, was it?
It was not like, well, I was he has John Thomas Macahao, like very popular in the jiu-jitsu subreddit, like amazing YouTube channel.
You can go ahead.
I used to crash on his couch, and I would throw him a few bucks. He would drive me around for the week, bring me to like every practice, and I would crash in like his spare bedroom or his couch, depending on how many other jiu-jitsu guys were crashing there. And we would do like the morning session, the afternoon session, and I would just like sleep, eat, train again, because I needed a nap after doing 10-minute rounds plus king of the guard plus all the drilling. My skin was raw, and I was like, oh, he's beat up, and and it was awesome because like my jiu-jitsu definitely got better from those experiences, and I competed very well.
Did it feel like a resort?
It did not feel luxurious. But as I got older and I stopped competing, that doesn't have an appeal for me anymore. Maybe it will again if I ever decide to do another competition. But the way jiu-jitsu camps are set up now, now they get more and more upscale. Yeah, if you want to put it. I mean, there's different things now. I mean,
so
there's something for everybody now. I really think the market has grown to the point where if you like Christian Globetrotters, Christian Kroger, our friend, what he does now is the whole business model that he has is I'm going to plan awesome vacations that my friends would like to come along with, and then I'm going to charge people for it.
Yeah, because with those, you're going somewhere beautiful. You're going to be doing jiu-jitsu, but you're also going to be somewhere where you can surf, ski,
go
around cool bars,
or like now he's doing stuff like renting castles. He's renting castles in Europe, and you're hanging out in a castle for a week.
What do you think of that one where there's like that little Japanese village in Poland?
That is like the randomest thing ever.
That's
Yeah, like
weird,
it's called the Zen Camp, and then there's like this judo / retreat where it's like this giant judo training hall with all.
Was
this,
it
like,
some crazy millionaire who made it?
Pretty much. That's what I believe. That's what it is. Yeah, and then so they're like in the middle of the forest somewhere in Poland, and then there's like this like village with like this amazing training facility and like these like ryokan style houses with like the tatamis and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And like you stay there and you train, and Christian like really goes deep into the Zen aspect of it, and everybody wears white gis and it's very quiet and introspective.
Sounds like he's starting to cult a little bit.
I mean, every time he does something,
It sounds like a beautiful one.
Yeah, I mean he's a beautiful man, so
he is.
That's a good.
I just saw Midsummer. You know that horror movie that just came out. I could have been tricked into believing that Christian was one of the characters. There's this guy running with his long blonde hair and this white outfit. I was like, that could be him. This could be a jiu-jitsu camp. Let's do a midsummer jiu-jitsu camp. All right. What'd you do over there? Play swamps?
Yeah, play swamps.
Get a life. So I'm gonna play Life from the Loam.
Sure.
Getting back Wooded Foothills and Life from the Loam's in my graveyard. And I'll play Wooded Foothills, crack it. I should lose another life. And I'm going to get something that you can get, Badlands. And let's just all get out of the way. I'm going to cast Entomb, even though I could cast on your turn. Entomb, put something in my graveyard. I'm going to put a Faithless Looting in my graveyard.
Matt is doing a bunch of shenanigans here. So while Matt does all these shenanigans, going back to Christian and Globetrotters, I think Christian really has pushed. I mean, this week was it Heidelberg starts? Heidelberg camp in Germany. It's the 50th camp.
50. Whoa.
So he's been doing this since 2012, I believe.
Okay.
Right? It's right around the same time Vertigear started, and I've been to 10 camps. And I really think he really popularized this format. It's like, hey, let's pick this beautiful spot, let's bring some people together, and let's have a good time. I think the cool thing about Globetrotters too is like a lot of these camps just lean on this like superstar instructor. It's like, oh, we're gonna have Caio Terra, Michael Super Symmetry, or like we're gonna have Calvao and Angelica Calvao and Andrew Calvao, and like all these Atos superstars. While Christian has like all these guys that were part of the Globetrotters movement kind of thing, where like he visited when he like traveled around the world, or like went to visit his gym in Copenhagen, and it's kind of like the core. It's like a core crew of instructors that he's been part of the camps forever. He doesn't go recruiting and paying people a lot, he's paying ridiculous amount of money for a superstar instructor for the weekend to run the thing. Versus just these guys that are very agreeable, very very sound technical jiu-jitsu. Most of them have their own academies, and they go and they're like awesome instructors. Like you might never heard of them, but by the end of camp, like you pick something up from them.
Go ahead, yeah. And so I haven't been to a lot of the Globetrotters. I went to the U.S. camp, the summer. Yeah,
Drana. Go ahead.
The summer camp, and it's unique because I've taught seminars. I've been to seminars, but the seminar is 2 hours, 3 hours maybe. You don't really meet people. You just usually people hang out with the people they already know. When you're somewhere for a week and you're sleeping in dormitory style, or you're sleeping in cabins, and you're also you're doing s'mores, and you're going kayaking and canoeing, and you're walking in the woods and eating all your meals together in a cafeteria, in the case of the summer camp, because it's literally a boys' summer camp facility. It's a very different experience than just, I drove to another city and I didn't know anybody, and I got to meet a famous guy and then I left. Yeah, I mean,
unlike the thing is like now the Christians, it's hard. Christian talks about this. Like, it's hard to explain what he did for a long time because he was doing so many things. Because like the Globetrotter community,
flashback.
Go ahead. Isn't only the camps, but like all these people traveling and traveling through
the draws
and looking for places to train and visiting each other, and like people meeting each other at camp and then taking a vacation together somewhere else, whether it's like a camp or not.
Discard Deckmore salvage. And
so that's
Elizabeth.
Sure. So that's been cool to see, and that's been very cool to be part of, because I've traveled all over, not only going to camps but visiting Globetrotter affiliated, if you want to put it that way, schools, where it was just to swing by. I'm in the city. I'm going to swing by and say hi, or I was brought over as an instructor for a week. You know.
Yeah.
So land and Nighthawk swing for 2.
Got me 2 commander damage.
2 commander damage.
So let's explain that for a moment. If you watch the other one, you learned that commanders are these special legendary creatures that we get to build our decks around. What also makes them special is when you get hit by a commander, so they deal you damage, combat damage, you get a special kind of damage on you that you can never get rid of. And if they can get up to 21 damage on you, you're dead. Even if you have life left over, even if you have something else going on, once you get 21, you're dead. So he's got 2 on me. All right. Draw the turn. Let's go Life in the Loam. And I'm going to return a...
If you're watching the video, I'm just shaking my head of all the shenanigans Matt's doing right now.
Maze of Ith. Deckmore Salvage. Actually...
So...
Do I want Deckmore Salvage? No.
Now that destination camps are becoming more of a thing, we're also seeing this movement of jiu-jitsu schools doing their own little camps. So like a little getaway vacation together for the whole academy.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
Where the whole camp, the whole school goes off somewhere?
Yeah, for example, our buddy Chris Ulbrich. If you are part of a newsletter, you heard a lot about him the last few months. We did a camp in Puerto Rico last year, and like took, I think, 10 students. They did like a bunch of excursions, training out one of the local academies. And now he's setting up this big camp in Iceland, and I think he has over 30 people signed up. And might be closer to 40 by the time they leave in January.
So this is something he's organizing himself, and he gets mostly his students to come?
Yep.
I think that's pretty cool. I mean, if you got the people who want to do it, that seems like a really great way to do like a team building thing.
Yeah, it's a lot of team building. Also, he said, the one thing that I was talking to him about it was like interesting. It's like sometimes he had like a few people sign up. Their like attendance wasn't the best.
Okay.
But now they're signed up for the camp. It's like, dude, like I'm gonna go to the jiu-jitsu camp with my people. Like I need to show up to class. Like, I should be training. I can't just go to this camp to be
can't go to camp out of shape and sloppy and
yep. So I thought like that was hilarious and very cool.
You should tell about Kevin Sheridan's.
Yeah,
what his setup is. That's a pretty cool thing.
So yeah, we have 2 friends that do cool camps.
Remind me, did I put a name for turn?
You definitely did.
I did.
No, you did not. We have 4.
All right.
You should have 5.
I'll play Reliquary Tower.
Our friend Kevin Sheridan does a camp in Costa Rica. Our friend Brad Wolfson does a camp in Puerto Escondido, Oaxaca. And then both are pretty cool because they're cool beach, surf-friendly destinations. One of my favorite surf spots though is I'm not that good at surfing, so I really like the BJ Globetrotters Caribbean camp because it's really easy to paddle out. There's like this little channel where there's no break. You just go out and then you make a left and then like there's a break and you can catch a wave.
How did you like the other one?
Oh yeah, I almost died in Oaxaca. Like they just took me to La Punta. If you're on YouTube, go like Cicatela Beach. Or La Punta Cicatela on YouTube. Cicatela with a Z, and there's ridiculous waves. So I got crushed by like some 6-8 foot waves, and my ribs were hurting the entire camp. So that's a cool thing about camps too. Is like always some kind of usually some kind of activity. So like you surf in the morning, or a winter camp you're doing ski or snowboard. I learned to paddleboard on a camp. I got into visit like warm places like Oaxaca or Costa Rica. Like you get to eat the local cuisine. You get to like hang out with the local. Like also you get to hang out with locals. And I feel that's very cool when you have camps and then you have a lot of not only local jiu-jitsu instructors, but a lot of the local guys come train with an open mat or whatever.
Yeah.
So being exposed, be like, man, especially like if you came up training in the U.S., it's like you have it good. It's like the availability of black belts and like high level training partners, especially now, is ridiculous.
Pretty good. Almost any big city has somebody. Yeah. Now you got such a wide so I remember it used to be so rare just to have. Yeah, you're up. You get to attack with some vampires. It used to be so rare to have black belts, but that was a long time ago. Now most cities will, and at least the U.S. for sure. Any big city will, and if not black belts, you have some pretty good brown and purple belt gyms even out there. What do you want to do?
Exquisite Blood.
So, what does that do?
Whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life.
Sweet.
So, swing. Take 4.
4.
And I gain 4.
All right.
And then 4 commander damage.
How does this thing go up? There we go.
All right.
At 4 commander.
And then, there should be counters in there, right?
She gets counters on herself. So should I be at like...
So let's do that first. So she should have 1. So
Yeah.
Now she's at 3. Then now she deals damage, goes up.
And then that thing gets a counter?
And then that thing gets a counter. She took 1 extra damage.
1 more.
Yep.
All right.
You go for it.
So should this be a 5?
Yep. Sorry about that, all the Magic players. You're shaking your head to this.
We're trying to multitask here.
Don't multitask here. So camps,
Anything
lots of jiu-jitsu everywhere now.
Yes. And one thing I think is cool about the camps is because they're like at the Globetrotter camp, you're going to do a seminar style hour class with somebody, and there'll be a few of those, and there'll be an open mat, and then there'll be a few more seminars and open mat. So you have a chance over the days to try the material you're learning, try it on a bunch of different people, come back to the same instructor a day later and say, hey, I liked your class the other day, and have questions for them.
Yeah. It's like, I was doing this, but it wasn't working because he was doing
So
this. It's like, then this is what you need to do.
You get some feedback during your camp.
Yeah. Also, like, you can pick, if, let's say, there's a spider guard class, you're not really interested in the spider guards, like, go to the beach for an hour.
Yeah.
You know, come back for
some
the
people
guy showing
try to do
classes.
every class, but there's usually like 2 people and they're kind of
like
burnt out by the end.
I mean, like, it's always funny, like, especially Globetrotter camps or like all the pop crawls and stuff that these guys do and some of the European camps it's funny, like the first few days, like, you know, open mat is just like 100 people.
Our promise
150 people. And then by the end of camp, you know, is way down when the soreness and the hungovers just start adding up.
What's the thing that Christian gives out to people?
There's like the bar team patch.
Mm-hmm. And isn't there like you get like a little like veto card where like
can't hang, can't roll.
Yeah, like I went out last night. I cannot like.
It's like I'll roll with you. You also went out. It's like I need somebody coming fresh.
Yeah,
after
and there's like that one guy who's like he's like there to make it his training camp, and then you're like,
yeah,
I'm gonna take out this black belt. And you're like,
well, that's the thing too. Is like I think camps also do depends what kind of camp you're going to. It's like do some research.
Mm-hmm.
If you're like a high level competitor and like your idea of a good time is just rolling until your knuckles are raw and like, you know, going very hard. It's like these kind of camps, vacation camps, are like more laid back and mellow. Might not be the right fit for you.
Guys Cradle Cabal Coffers.
Sure, and all the mana. So that kind of camp might not be the thing for you, right? Mm-hmm. But if you are a guy that trains twice a week and like more of a hobbyist, or you just like to travel and like just meet people through jiu-jitsu, and like, you know, even if you're a competitor, but like let's say this is your off season, like I think that's much better.
Yeah,
fit. I think it's just more enjoyable for me now, where I am now as a 32-year-old those that compete. Mm-hmm. I enjoy and I go open mat, and like, you know, there's still like from time to time there's like a purple brown belt, even like black belt that like really comes after me, and I'm like, all right, like, you know, I'll give you as hard as a roll as I can.
Go ahead. Yeah,
but I like that's not what I'm there for. And like I do enjoy. I try to like now with Hillary we usually alternate open mats. So one of us is hanging out with Leo, and I just if I go to open mat, then open mat's 2 hours. I'm gonna sit there for 2 hours and just roll with as many people as possible. And if people don't want to roll and want to ask me questions, I'm happy to answer questions. You know.
Yeah. I feel like the Globetrotter camps are pretty flexible like that because if you want to get those hard training sessions in, there's people who are up for it.
Send in a binker. So.
All right.
Black creatures get +1/+1.
Okay.
So attack, you take 4/5. She triggers.
I'm gonna Maze of Ith this one.
Okay, so she doesn't trigger.
Hit me, and it doesn't trigger.
Okay, so you take 2, 3, 4.
Okay. So at the Globetrotter camps,
and I gain 4. So
you can get that harder training if you want to.
Yeah,
I've seen like people set up the extra training sessions, or they pick a side of the mat. I even see people train MMA and stuff. They're getting ready for fights.
Yeah, because
there's enough people.
There's definitely a few UFC fighters that have cycled through there.
All right, my turn.
Like Nicholas Dalby, Gnosis MMA, Devin Powell, Julia. She's her MMA debut the other day. Julia Shoemate, Raging Panda herself.
Oh yeah.
So and then we have like guys. So 1, 2, 3, Jiu-Jitsu Globetrotters. If you're on the fence about it, we definitely recommend it.
I'm making 9 black mana, by the way.
Oh, go for it. Definitely a good experience, and there's something for everyone. If you're into snowboarding,
10.
go to Vagrain in the winter and enjoy the Austrian Alps.
11.
If you want to surf, go to the St. Bart's camp. If you want to go drink awesome beer, go to Heidelberg.
Mm-hmm.
So something for everyone.
All right, I cast my commander, so I had 11 mana floating. Use 6 of it to cast it. When it comes into play, I get a Kobold of Care Keep, which is an 0/1.
Red creature, right?
Red creature.
And they'll die right away.
Oh, you're right. Okay, that's fine. I didn't pay attention to that. So he'll come into play. I still got 5 mana.
But
Is it all black creatures, though? Or yours?
non-black creatures get -1/-1.
And all black creatures get +1/+1?
Yeah, other black creatures.
All right, so I got this guy.
Oh,
And then I'm going to...
get this out of here.
they're all dead. Forget them.
Dead.
Then I still have 5 black mana floating. I'll make 1 more green. So get Rock Monster.
Ooh.
Custom
Custom.
get Rock Monster. And he's got a bunch of weird abilities. Just know that whenever I put a land in my graveyard from somewhere, I draw a card, and he lets me play additional lands, and he also makes me sacrifice a land at the beginning of my turn. So I'm going to use Guy's Cradle. It makes a green for each creature. I'll make 2 green. I'm going to cycle...
Not 19 like you wanted to.
I was going to make 19, but I'll cycle Tranquil Thicket. Land says pay a green, discard it, draw a card. And then because of him, I'll draw 2 cards.
How much mana left over?
I have 1 green mana left over. We playing with Mana Burn?
But good for keeps here.
Play for keeps.
So, what other camp have you been to? What do you think makes a good camp? What should people look for?
I think it's going to be, like you said, what intensity and tone you're going for. Is it a vacation camp, or do you I'm going to train and do every lesson?
I think another thing too is
go ahead.
Like our buddy Riley runs camps, and he would run like a leglock camp.
Mm-hmm.
And our friend John Calistine, Aaron Millam used to run a leglock camp as well. They were out in.
Oh yeah, where were they?
Were they in Brussels? No.
Mm-hmm. Somewhere in Europe.
And it was like 5 days, so very intensive. And then it was all leglock center. So if you if you're into leglocks or you want to learn leglocks, being able to go to those camps and you should work on it with high level instruction day after day, and you just build out Riley did a very good job when he did his beginner camps where every lesson just build up on the last one. And at the beginning of camp, people had no idea, and then by the end of camp, they were so comfortable with all the concepts because you just progress slowly.
Yeah, a 3-day camp will get you you get there on one topic.
Yep.
I think sometimes
7 mana. I go Defiant Bloodlord.
What's he do?
Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life.
I'm pretty sure I'm dead if you hit me.
Yes. So now these combos, and then Matt loses infinite life, and I gain infinite life.
Well, how about that?
So now I swing, Matt takes damage.
And then a loop begins.
Every
time I lose life, he gains life, and every time he gains life, I lose life.
Yep.
Well, how about that?
How about them apples?
So finish what we're saying.
Camps. Camps with very a narrow concepts being investigated.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen some Berimbolo camps, or Keenan has been doing weekend Warm Guard at certain schools.
I think that's a cool idea. I feel
like you just go in there and you just nailing one topic. I think that's awesome. Besides the vacation aspect.
Yeah. And of course, this is going to be so individual because some people are going to go, I'm going because I want to learn something. I want to train with a specific person who has a game that's well known, or I want to know it well.
Yeah.
And that would be what draws you. And other people go, I want to go to Costa Rica for a week and ride a ATV in the woods and then train jiu-jitsu and surf.
I was I want to drink coconut water after training and eat ceviche for lunch and then take a nap. And then that's that's fine.
Yeah. So it's the more the better, I think, now that we're getting so many. I mean, we'll get to a point though it's hard to choose.
Yeah,
because it's not cheap to go to these things either. If you're flying to other countries, you're staying somewhere for a week.
Oh, for sure. But the thing is, a lot of especially a lot of the guys that are repeat customers for Christian. Christian keeps a high score list, and you have some people that have been to 10+ camps over the years, and it just becomes this
But if
is
you're
my
going to do your
vacation.
vacation for the year,
Yeah, like this is my vacation for the year. Like instead of going to an all-inclusive resort or going to New York for like 4 days and like paying Maffe's and Marcelo's and then doing this and doing that, it's like I'm gonna camp. Like everybody that's there is like the same mission as I am. We're like gonna have a good time. I'm gonna learn jiu-jitsu. I'm gonna make a bunch of connections, and everybody's a good time. Now, again, you just pick what you're into.
yeah,
You want to learn how to surf? A lot of these camps are like in beautiful surf destinations. You want to learn how to snowboard? Christian has the winter camp. You want to go to Mexico? Our friend Brad runs an awesome Mexico camp. Costa Rica has a bunch of camps now.
oh yeah,
Like even like talking about specific things. Like Henry Akins has been running his Invisible Jiu-Jitsu camps, and like if you're into like that, Henry Akins Jiu-Jitsu, I think they call them Invisible Jiu-Jitsu camps. And like Henry's game is like very narrow. It's like everything needs to. What's his thing? It's like gi, no gi, and self-defense.
yeah,
Everything he does has that in mind. And then there's like some like this very micro about like all the details, because like again, if we can do all these things, but then we narrow it down on the things that we really want to focus on, right? Like then I can really drill down on little details, because this is what I'm working on. This is what I'm putting the reps on, so I can really take a deep dive into certain positions. So it might not be leg locks, but like your mount and side control pressure or escapes are going to be way better in this camp. So those kind of things, I think, really, really, really cool to be around now versus like when we started training 10, 12 years ago. Like the only options was like let's go to Rio and let's hope for the best.
yeah. Hopefully we get in the wrong cab in the airport.
Yeah.
So I think it's a cool time, and I think if you can afford it, and if there's one available to you, definitely go, at least for one. Maybe you don't like it. I don't know how you couldn't really like it, but maybe you don't like it, you don't do it anymore. But there's a lot of good places out there, and there's so many opportunities to travel.
Yeah,
now.
you just do your research and find a spa you're interested in going. And I mean, the other thing too, we didn't talk about for ladies, our friend Emily and Hanech and Bally run Groundswell Grappling, and
the women's only camps are growing.
The women's only camps are going all over the place. Girls and Geese does these things, or our friend Shanti in Denmark does a bunch of other stuff in Europe. Girls and Geese in Australia does like all kinds of stuff. And like those camps are awesome, especially if whatever you are, you have one female training partner. You gotta drive an hour to train with like another female your size and like weight and belt and whatever. Like having an opportunity to go to these camps and train with a high level woman your size is awesome. Like we take that for granted. Like like I have like a Sunday training session I go to now, and I have like 4 or 5 like really good upper belts. My like between brown and black belt, like some purple belts, like my size. And they're like 2 of them are going to Abu Dhabi. Like I'm a lucky dude, So it's hard to think like, okay, what would this look like if I was the only if I was a female, I was the only female on the mat, and everybody was 50 pounds heavier than me.
Yeah, and I was talking to Hillary how she'll have stories where she's like having to talk to her potential competitors from a tournament just because they need someone to train with. They're like, hey, can we train together? I mean, we're probably going to compete against each other at the same thing, but like we got to get training in somehow. Maybe we're going to be maybe we're in different weight divisions this time or something. Yeah, and we can make an arrangement, even though we're on different teams.
Yeah, I mean,
who else are we going to train with?
Yeah, when like Hillary was coming up, it was kind of like Jen Hall now, formerly Jen Flannery.
Yeah,
and Sam. What's Sam's last name?
Fallhaber.
Yeah,
I think I always say it wrong. So
yeah, Fallhaber. Let's go with Fallhaber. So Sam, Jen, and Hillary just came up the ranks together, and they were competing against each other all the time, like local Northeast tournaments, and then out in California where they competed at Worlds and Pans. And like now you have these girls that are like, they complain that, my blue belt Masters 2 division only has 8 girls in it. Like, are you kidding me? Like Hillary, like I could see like the silent rage inside of her, because when she came up, it's like some tournaments it wasn't even like weight classes, and like not like belts or weight classes.
It would be like purple
girls
and
division,
up, all weights, something like that.
Yeah, it'd be like white and blue, and then purple and up, all weights, and like that was it. And like and then they were lucky if there were 6 girls there. You know?
So think there's a good time for all these things. It's all growing.
Hey man, it's a beautiful time to get into jiu-jitsu. It's a beautiful time to do jiu-jitsu, and
Beautiful time to buy inverted gear gi.
hey, you said it. And just enjoy your training, whether it's at your home academy or some beautiful camp. So, and if you're traveling, take some pictures with inverted gear, maybe a traveling bag, because people love as a carry-on item, like the little gi bag. So if you're carrying a little gi bag somewhere, cool, underneath a palm tree, send us a picture.